The 1920s were a decade of eccentric trends and peculiar pastimes that defined a generation. From flagpole sitting to bizarre competitions, these fads captured the imagination of many. How did these strange obsessions fade into obscurity? Join us as we explore 13 weird fads from the 1920s that vanished over time. Flagpole sitting was a strange trend in the 1920s where people would sit on top of flagpoles for as long as they could. Alvin "Shipwreck" Kelly, a stunt actor and former sailor, began this craze by sitting on a flagpole in 1924 for 13 hours and 13 minutes. The idea quickly spread, as many people tried to break records by sitting for days or even weeks. One of the most famous records was set by Kelly in 1930, when he sat on a flagpole for 49 days in Atlantic City. This trend was not just about endurance. Businesses sponsored these events to attract crowds and media attention. The Great Depression eventually ended this unusual trend as people became less interested in such spectacles. Flagpole sitting captivated audiences, but how did another daring spectacle like horse diving capture the imagination of the 1920s? Before we explore it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Horse diving was a thrilling and risky activity that became popular in the 1920s. It involved horses jumping from high platforms into pools of water. William "Doc" Carver helped make it famous, claiming he got the idea after his horse accidentally leaped off a bridge into a river. Sonora Webster was one of the most well-known horse divers. She started diving in 1924 and continued even after a terrible accident in 1931 left her blind. Large crowds came to see these daring performances. Although the horses were trained to jump calmly, animal rights activists criticized the sport for being cruel. By the 1970s, horse diving had mostly disappeared because of growing concerns about animal welfare. Horse diving captivated audiences, but what about the women who defied norms in the same era? Let's explore the world of flappers next. Flappers were young women in the 1920s who broke away from traditional customs and embraced a new, free lifestyle. They were known for their unique style, which included short skirts, bobbed hair, and bright makeup. Flappers enjoyed smoking, drinking, and dancing to jazz music, which many considered shocking at the time. Their rise was influenced by several factors. The end of World War I led to significant social changes, giving women more independence, including the right to vote in 1920. The economic boom of the Roaring '20s also created more job opportunities for women, allowing them to earn their own money. This new freedom enabled them to challenge societal expectations and explore different ways to express themselves. Flappers embraced freedom and defied norms. But what impact did their lifestyle have during the era of Prohibition? Let's explore this next. Prohibition was an important and debated time in the 1920s when the United States made it illegal to produce, sell, and move alcoholic drinks. This period started with the 18th Amendment and the Volstead Act of 1920, aiming to limit alcohol use and its harmful effects on society. Despite the ban, many people continued drinking, leading to illegal activities like bootlegging, where individuals secretly made and sold alcohol. Hidden bars known as speakeasies became popular, especially in urban areas. Organized crime thrived with gangsters like Al Capone profiting greatly from illegal alcohol sales. The challenges in enforcing prohibition and widespread corruption among law enforcement led to its repeal in 1933 with the 21st Amendment. Prohibition not only transformed drinking culture, but also opened doors to new trends. What impact did it have on cigarette sales? Let's explore. Cigarette vending machines were a popular and easy way to buy cigarettes during the 1920s. They were invented by William Rowe in 1926 and allowed people to purchase cigarettes by simply inserting coins. These machines quickly appeared in cafes, gas stations, and many other public places. They were designed to attract attention, with glass fronts to show the cigarette packs or mirrors for customers to use. This convenience meant that people could buy cigarettes at any time without needing to talk to a store clerk. As time passed, concerns about underage smoking grew. Regulations were introduced to limit their use, especially in areas accessible to young people, leading to a decline across the United States. Cigarette vending machines made purchasing easy, but how did entertainment shift during the same era? Let's explore silent movies next. Silent movies were a popular type of entertainment in the 1920s, capturing audiences with their visual storytelling. Without synchronized sound, these films used expressive acting, title cards, and live music to tell their stories. Famous actors like Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton became well known for their roles in silent films. One of the most famous silent films was The General, released in 1926, featuring Buster Keaton. This movie is recognized for its amazing stunts and comedic timing. Another classic is Metropolis, released in 1927, a German science fiction film directed by Fritz Lang, known for its innovative special effects. The rise of talkies, starting with The Jazz Singer in 1927, ended the silent film era. Silent movies captivated audiences, but how did fashion reflect the changing culture of the 1920s? Let's explore cloche hats next. Cloche hats were a popular fashion trend in the 1920s, recognized for their unique bell shape. The name cloche comes from the French word for bell, reflecting the hat's design. These hats were usually made of felt, allowing them to fit snugly on the head and sit low on the forehead, just above the eyes. This style went well with the short bob hairstyles that many women favored during that time. Cloche hats were typically plain, but could be enhanced with ribbons, beads, or embroidery for a fancier appearance. They were a favorite accessory for flappers, young women who embraced new fashions and lifestyles. Besides being stylish, these hats provided warmth and protection from the weather. Cloche hats symbolize the bold fashion of the 1920s. But what other cultural trends emerged during this vibrant era? Let's explore. Mahjong became very popular in the 1920s, attracting many Americans with its unique charm. This game originated in China and involved matching or arranging sets of tiles. Joseph Park Babcock introduced it to the United States, promoting it as a stylish and sophisticated activity. Mahjong quickly became a favorite, especially among the wealthy, including President Harding and Hollywood stars. People played the game at social events, dressing in Chinese-inspired outfits and decorating their homes with Oriental designs. This theatrical element made it appealing, particularly for women seeking to embrace modern trends and social changes. The game also created a sense of community, bringing people together in an enjoyable and engaging way. The excitement of Mahjong brought social changes. What other thrilling forms of entertainment captured Americans in the 1920s? Let's explore barnstorming. Barnstorming was an exciting type of entertainment in the 1920s, when stunt pilots showed off amazing aerial tricks. These pilots used extra World War I biplanes like the Curtiss JN-4 Jenny and traveled from one town to another, landing in fields to perform stunts and gather crowds. The name barnstorming comes from the spontaneous air shows in rural areas. Pilots executed various stunts, such as loops, dives, and barrel rolls. Some would even walk on the wings of planes or leap between aircraft while in the air. Charles Lindbergh, who later gained fame for his solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean, began his career as a barnstormer. These shows introduced many Americans to flying for the first time. Barnstorming captured the thrill of aviation. But what cultural phenomena took hold in the 1920s that rivaled this excitement? Let's explore Egyptomania. Egyptomania was a huge craze for everything related to ancient Egypt during the 1920s. This excitement began after Howard Carter discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922. The treasures found inside, including the famous golden mask, fascinated people and inspired a wave of Egyptian-themed fashion, architecture, and art. Many hosted mummy unwrapping parties where actual mummies were unwrapped as entertainment. Egyptian designs appeared in everyday items like jewelry, clothing, and furniture. This trend also influenced architecture, with buildings created in the Egyptian Revival style, featuring elements such as obelisks and sphinx. Hollywood joined the trend by making films set in ancient Egypt, which further increased the public's interest in all things Egyptian. The fascination with ancient Egypt captivated society. But how did this obsession lead to another surprising trend? Let's explore dance marathons. Dance marathons became a popular trend in the 1920s, where couples danced non-stop for hours, days, or even weeks to win cash prizes. These events began as entertaining competitions, but quickly turned into challenging endurance tests. Contestants needed to keep moving for 45 minutes every hour, taking only short breaks to rest. The craze started in the early 1920s and peaked during the Great Depression, as people sought entertainment and a way to earn money. Spectators paid a small fee to watch the dancers struggle through exhaustion, cheering them on or betting on their favorites. Despite their popularity, many cities banned dance marathons due to concerns about contestants' health and safety. Dance marathons brought excitement and competition. But what music fueled the energy of this vibrant era? Let's explore the Jazz Age. The Jazz Age was a lively time in the 1920s when jazz music became extremely popular. It started in New Orleans and quickly spread across the United States, greatly affecting culture and society. This period introduced famous musicians like Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, who took jazz to new levels with their creative styles. Jazz clubs became popular nightlife spots, especially during Prohibition when alcohol was illegal. These clubs buzzed with energy as people danced to jazz rhythms, breaking away from traditional social rules. The Jazz Age also contributed to the Harlem Renaissance, celebrating African American art, literature, and music, while jazz influenced fashion, dance, and even everyday language. The Jazz Age brought exciting music and lively nightlife. But what quirky competitions were people engaging in during this vibrant decade? Let's explore. The 1920s featured some unusual competitions that fascinated many people. Eating contests became a popular trend where participants quickly consumed large amounts of food, such as pies and hot dogs, to see who could eat the most. These events attracted big crowds who were eager to watch. Another quirky trend was gum chewing contests, where contestants chewed gum for hours or even days to see who could go the longest without spitting it out. These contests took place at fairs and carnivals, creating a lively atmosphere. Long-distance tango races combined the endurance of dance marathons with the graceful tango. Couples danced for days to win prizes, showcasing their stamina and dancing skills in a captivating display. The 1920s brought some truly bizarre fads that have since faded into history. Which of these strange trends surprised you the most? If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content on the quirky side of history.